Today is October 10th, 2022. Let me start by saying that I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This information is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. Today we'll be talking about stock symbol MMTLP, and that's a spin out of NextBridge Hydrocarbons. The title of this presentation is called Now's a Good Time to Make and Adjust Your Plans. If you're not aware what MMTLP is a bunch of, it's the distribution of some oil and gas assets that were owned by a company called Torchlight Energy, and Torchlight Energy merged with another company called MMAT. They were to be dispersed under something known as the Series A preferred shares, which later on started trading under the stock symbol MMTLP for Metamaterials Torchlight preferred shares. We're currently expecting a spin-out to a brand new company called NextBridge Hydrocarbons with these assets. There's about 3.2 billion barrels of oil in the ground, plus a whole bunch of natural gas. There's a 49% revenue interest currently, and all of these assets are in Texas, near El Paso. There's a Marathon refinery in El Paso. There are two pipelines in the area, which one's for oil and the other's for natural gas. Because it's in Texas, you don't need a federal lease to get access to this oil. It's what's called private land in Texas. Okay, so that's what it is. I will not be going over the in-depth details and the story of the MMTLP. If you want to see that, you should check out two videos that I have which go over it in excruciatingly details. Well, not excruciatingly, but at least in a details that you can figure it out. One's about 40 minutes, the other's about 35 minutes. And they go over the entire story of Torchlight Energy, the merger with Metamaterials, what's been going on with that, how to value the oil and gas assets, etc. Two links are provided. Okay? Check out those videos if you want. I won't go over that in detail. Those videos were made specifically so I could reference them in the future. The other thing to note is, let's see what else. Oh, yeah. The other thing to note is, if you wanted to know what's going on with the S1 process, which is the filing process to spin out NextBridge Hydrocarbons, there are currently 4 videos about that. 2 videos about the S1, which was filed. And then there's an S1A amendment. There's an amendment that was filed, so there's a video about that. And finally, there's an amendment number 2, which was just recently filed last week. And I believe that's what caused the increase in the start of the run of MMTLP, because people became aware of this now. Also, if you want to know about the latest goings on in the Orogrande Basin, which is where these wells are, got 2 videos on that. One's about the drilling and the wells and whatnot. On the left, if you haven't noticed, is a small drone footage from a couple of years ago when they were actually drilling for oil. So this stuff is real. It's in Texas, and there it is. Let's look for now at the price of metamaterials. Let's move on to today. Okay, or actually, let's move on to last week. This is the price action of metamaterials Torchlight preferred shares MMTLP from a few days ago. On Thursday, we saw that the price rose up, and it got up to about $1.95. And I noted that it's, it looks like this is a price capping action, probably by the shorts, because they don't want, they want to prevent FOMO. They want to prevent a massive insurge of people buying the stock, because these shorts actually want to close their short positions, and they want to close them at a cheap price. They don't want to close them at a very high price. However, by the end of the day, their price capping action failed. On Friday, buyers bought at the open, and there was a major price increase. And so, of course, shorts slammed the price right after the open, and they tried to limit the price as people were continually buying and thanking them for lowering the price and lowering their buy price. I can't speak. But the interesting thing about Friday is Friday was a massively red day for the rest of the market. And MMTLP was up 25% on Friday. What does that mean? That means people start to notice MMTLP because it's up and it's green. It's green 25% on a day when everything else is down. Everything else is down that day. So today is Monday. What happened on Monday? Well, Naturally, of course. There's more buying at the open, right? There's a ton more buying at the open. So the shorts slammed the price at the open, just like they did on the Friday, right? And it brought the price down. A lot of people said, thank you, shorts. And buyers scooped up as much shares as they could. And MMTLP closed today at $3.47, a brand new all-time high. We are up 40% for the day, 41% for the day. Pretty amazing. But remember what I was saying about grabbing exposure? A lot of people are saying, some people are thinking, hey, maybe this is a short squeeze. This is going up like insane. I don't believe that to be the case. I believe this is just exposure and people learning about the opportunity. And people, when they learn about the opportunity, they say, yeah, I'd like to buy some. Couldn't hurt. Why not? This is a Reddit group called Our Penny Stocks, where they deal in stocks that cost under $5, right? And it's a speculative group. It's a place to lose your money with help from your friends and likewise degenerates. That's what they say, right? The posts and advice here should be taken with a grain of salt, as there are no financial advice. There's no financial advice in any of these Reddit groups, of course. Please invest at your own risk and enjoy, okay? Thing about this group is, if you look at it, it's got 1.9 million members in this group. 1.9 million members, okay? And if you look at the hot posts in this group, these posts are listed by what they consider to be the most important posts, the most posts that are getting action, right? Well, MetaMaterials actually made it there. They're post number 4 and post number 7. So it's starting to get exposure. And what does that mean when we say they're starting to get exposure? Well, this group alone has 1.9 million members. Those two postings got 62,000 views and 75,000 views. Think about that. 62,000 views and 75,000 views. Just for those two posts alone. Will there be additional posts? Will other people start talking about it? Sure. Will they be talking about it on Wall Street Bets? Not yet, because it's under $5 a share. When it gets above $5 a share, then you're open to Wall Street Bets, which has, 10 million people, 10 million members. And if it gets there and it gets any traction there, wow. What kind of money do you expect could pour into MMTLP? Which led me to ask a question. Suppose just 100,000 people, 100,000 new people hear about MMTLP, and suppose each of them invested about $1,000 each, right? That's not an unreasonable number, right? To think about it, right? We're in a country of 350 million people, and, when a stock goes up plus 25%, and the rest of the market is down, significantly red, then that might get the attention of maybe 100,000 people. Who knows? Right? Anyway, so I said 100,000 multiplied by 1,000 is $100 million. That's a possibility of $100 million flowing into MetaMaterials, MMTLP, right? And if we look at what the stock price ended today at, there was unusually large volume today. There was about 2.9 million shares of volume today. Normally the volume is about 341,000 shares, right? And the stock price ended today at $3.47. So if you take 2.9 million shares and you multiply it by $3.47, there's about $10 million worth of volume today alone. And it went up 40%. Okay. The average volume is 341,000 shares. If you take 341,000, you multiply it by $3.47, that's about $1 million worth of volume. Okay. So yes, we had $10 million worth of volume on a stock that normally trades around, let's say, $1 million or less of volume, right? Because we're at all-time highs now. So, and the stock is up significantly, right? And if we just look at the last few days, I just wanted to pick this up. I looked at some historical data. Here's the data from the last few days. I put this into a nice little spreadsheet because I like spreadsheets, and I wanted to see what the percentage change was, right? So I had a column for change, right? This is the day's close minus the previous day's close, right? And we can see that today, which is the last row, ended at about plus $1.01, right? But I like to look at things in percentages and relative percentages. So I had a percent change column, and And if we look at the average of the last 5 days to see what the percentage changes, because we've had some nice price movement then, it looks like in the last 5 days there's about 18% on average increases on average every day, right? That's not bad. It's really not bad. That's a very nice increase in price movement. So I said to myself, okay, suppose that continues. Let's just see what that might look like. Now, you put this into a chart, and you say, okay, add 18% to $3.47, you get $4.09. And then I just replicate that for, say, 19, 20 days, right? Prices go up pretty fast, right? By the end of 19 days, you're at $80.55. And that's just regular people finding out about it, right? 18% is on average. But don't forget, if we looked back a few days, we had, just today we had 41% price appreciation. We had 24% price appreciation. A lot of this is not, it's not going to be very, It's not going to be smooth, but on average, who knows? Maybe it's 18%. It's not an unreasonable number. So I decided to add a few more columns, say 20%, 25%, 30%, 35%, 40%. Let's just, computers are good at doing math, so let's just fill in all the numbers for all of this and see where these numbers go, okay? Let's just look at the 20% number because it's a nice even number. It's close to 20%. This is where it's been going. Let's make a chart out of that. This is what the 20% chart looks like, right? After 20 days, after 19 days or so, you're up around $110, right? Not bad, right? Not bad at all, right? Let's see what happens at the 30% level. At the 30% level, the curve looks about the same. The number's higher, right? But the shape of the curve looks pretty much the same, right? It's just a little bit sharper, but the shape is the same. And if you look at 40%, it's even sharper. The numbers go even higher. The numbers are higher and the numbers are sharper. So why am I drawing all these curves? What does it mean? Do I think that they're going to go up like this? Do I know? I don't know the future. Nobody knows the future. Nobody can tell you the future. Anyone who does is lying to you. Okay, but there should be a key takeaway you can take away from this. This is my key takeaway. When the prices move, they will move, and they will move hard and fast, right? Even at 18%, they are moving pretty damned fast, right? That is, it moves up pretty, it goes from $3 to $4 to $5 to $6. But, if you look at, day 17, you're at $76, $92, $110. It's moving pretty fast there, okay? And that's the slowest of all of the charts, by the way. But anyway, so I would say when prices move, they're going to move hard and fast, right? So that means to me, if you haven't already, you should have worked out your own sell plans. If you've worked out your own sell plans, maybe you want to adjust them, maybe you want to take into account some data or whatever, But don't panic when the price is moving fast. Instead, prepare, understand, right? There's a movie that came out in the 1970s, was called The Killer Elite. I like the movie. It's got James Caan and Robert Duvall. Robert Duvall happened to mention something called the 6P principle, and I thought that was really pretty cool. He said, proper planning prevents piss poor performance. Okay, 6P principle. It's a good rule to live by. If you follow the 6P principle, you'll know what to do when the stock price starts moving. Okay? Good to know. Good to know. Toward that end, I've been planning for a while. When, you might ask, where do I think this is going to go? I'm not going to tell you. I already gave you this chart. This is where I think the fundamentals are, right? Based upon the dollar value of oil. But do I think it can go higher than this? Yes, it could squeeze. It could go much higher. But this is part of my proper planning, okay? I made this chart. This chart is available, and I will show you later on how to get access to it, to the raw data, as a matter of fact. Anyway, so this chart, it looks at the price of oil in dollars per barrel and compares it against what the value of the dividend is, assuming it's a non-taxable event, which is something like a stock swap, okay? Non-taxable means it's not taxable to metamaterials, but it is taxable to you if you suddenly decide to sell, okay? So just keep any of that stuff in mind. Current price of oil as of today is $89.76, 77 cents, say. But the average price over a whole year is $92.24. $92.24. Okay. So if you look on this chart, that means that the estimated dividend value at $92.24 is about $58.56. Okay, now, is that when I plan to sell at? No, because in a squeeze scenario, prices can easily go much higher, right? This is why I showed you the other charts about, suppose it goes up 30% a day. Suppose it goes up 20% a day. You get an idea of what these things can do in squeeze scenarios. Squeezes are irrational. In fact, they even talk about squeezes in the S1 Amendment number 2. In any case, this is a chart of what I believe the fundamental value is. If you want access to this chart, it has always been available on GitHub from a while back. Here are the instructions on how to download it from GitHub. You can just click code, click download zip, and you can get access to this chart. You'll get these two spreadsheets. One's in numbers format because I like to use numbers, and as well as I exported it to Excel. So if you're using Microsoft Excel, you can view it in that as well too. Essentially, the chart looks like this. And if you want to know how this chart works, there's a video that describes exactly how the chart works, and I will provide a link to that video. So that should not be a problem. In any case, yeah, this is the info on how to download it. Download that info from GitHub. And proper planning prevents piss poor performance. So remember that I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This information is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. And if you haven't made plans, start making your plans now. I'm not advising you to do anything. I already made my plans. You might, some people ask me, when do you make your plans, right? When do you make your sell side strategy? When do you make your sell plans? I make them usually about a week before I wind up deciding to buy the stock. Okay. I've already analyzed the stock. I've already seen what's going on with it, and I've already checked out every which way I can. And I say to myself, okay, here's what I plan to sell. That's it. I will see you on the moon. This is Market Moves, and my name's Tony. So goodbye. Take care. Make your plans, because stuff happens. YouTube may go down that day. There may be issues when communication lines are not very good. People may not be able to make channels in time. Prices move hard and fast. Just be aware and make your plans so you don't have to rely on anybody, including myself. Talk to you later. Goodbye.